Good morning. In case you hadn't figured out what my role is this morning, I am the concierge of Tucson's lovely Unity Center. I'm going to invite you to really pay special attention to the last candle that we're going to light. Thank you. Good morning. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of surrender to the divine love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. The final candle is the healing candle. It represents the revealing of divinity at the core of all experiences. This is your candle for whatever is in your mind and heart that requires the light. Thank you.
Thank you, Beryl. Thank you, Savannah. This here is our peace candle, which we keep illuminated around the clock. Well, unless the batteries die, then we replace the batteries, and it's illuminated around the clock. And let that be a metaphor for when your batteries run out, replace your batteries, and get back to doing your peace work. Let us together say our prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace reigns in the world. And so it is. In our center, we are also very, very blessed to have a ministry team of prayer chaplains and staff ministers in addition to our senior minister. And every Sunday, we invite one person from our ministry team to do a reading, affirmation, and prayer. To do that this Sunday, please help me welcome the Reverend Sue Oliver.
So a segue into peace. How many of you have heard of Peace Pilgrim? Raise your hand. Oh, okay, awesome. So I've just reread her book, Peace Pilgrim, Her Life and Work in Her Own Words. And I'd like to call her a bad, but I'm just going to call her a bad butt woman, because she walked over 25,000 miles. She stopped counting. She went on so many pilgrimages. She's walking for peace. There's a picture of her on this book cover that shows her in a tunic. She walked around the country traveling with nothing, and passed away in 1965, and trusted with the faith of God as she visited a variety of churches, including Unity churches around the country, that she would be taken care of and that she would be supported. And her message was really a message of peace that I think resonates really strongly even more today in the midst of everything going on in the world. And so when I thought about what I wanted to read as far as a quote, I thought, Peace Pilgrim, she's the one that I'm bringing forth today. So I invite you, if you haven't heard about her, to check her out. And she is, I think, one of my greatest teachers. And so as Peace is traveling around by foot to over 25,000 miles around the country with nothing in her pockets and trusting with the faith of God, here's what she says about diversity, inclusion, and just that oneness, that wholeness that is God, that we are all together in the spirit of inclusivity. She says, "Of course, I love everyone I meet. How could I fail to? Within everyone is a spark of God. I am not concerned with racial or ethnic background or the color of one's skin. All people look to me like shining lights." Take a moment and look around, see all the shining lights, and just know the ones online as well. "I see in all creatures the reflection of God. All people are my kinfolk. People to me are beautiful and magnificent. We people of the world need to find ways to get to know one another, for then we will recognize that our likenesses are so much greater than our differences, however great our differences may seem. Every cell, every human being is of equal importance and has work to do in this world." So we have an affirmation for the month, this last Sunday of the month, around inclusivity. I'm going to just say it one time and allow it to just simmer, seep in, and whatever you hear for yourself. And then we'll repeat it together twice. I see myself in every face I see. I treat myself lovingly in everyone I meet.
So, hey, pain, I don't listen to you anymore. You don't take me anywhere. Hey, fear, I don't listen to you anymore. You don't take me anywhere. And if you want to know where I'm going where the sun shines. And that's a metaphor for I'm going where there is light. And I'm leaving behind the fear and the pain that I learned to adopt, to endure, to even like. And I'm going to a place of light. And so that is our journey. Now, once upon a time in my life, and probably in yours, fear served a purpose. And probably once upon a time in your life and in mine, emotional pain served a purpose. Fear is a built-in system to warn us about our safety. So in prior times in our physical and spiritual evolution, fear came up as a signal to say, hey, something is up that you need to deal with for your safety. Similarly, emotional pain and physical pain have been there for a purpose. They signal the need for healing. So when physical pain or emotional pain shows up in your life, it's not a bad thing, because it is an alert system telling you healing needs to take place. The thing is, anymore, fear and pain are just an alert system, and they should not be a way of life. Because fear doesn't take you anywhere. There are so many things in my life that I have not done out of fear that now I wish I had done. And there are so many bad situations in my life where I stayed way too long out of fear of leaving. And now I see that I should have left much, much sooner. But that fear that wasn't really real, it was more like a thing that I did, was there preventing me from doing what was mine to do. Similarly with emotional pain. Has emotional pain before, rhetorical question, thank you, Jonathan, has emotional pain before kept you in a place that is not yours to be? And how did that work out for you? Rhetorical question as well. And the thing is that as part of our spiritual development, we can transcend beyond fear. And as part of our emotional development, we can transcend beyond emotional pain. You do not need to be addicted to fear to do well in life. Likewise, you do not need to be addicted to emotional pain. It's not a requirement. You can do fine with it. When it comes up, listen to it as a signaling system and say thank you and do what is yours to do. We can get rid of fears in our lives. Takes a little work, but we can. And we can get rid of emotional pain in our lives. Takes a little work, but we can. There was a woman named May Roland. She was the director of Silent Unity, Unity's prayer ministry, for 55 years. She started in high school, or right after high school, and she led the job until very late in her life. And she said, most fears take to their heels if we do something about them. I love how she wrote that, take to their heels. Move on, carry on, walk away. Most fears take to their heels if we do something about them, yet we need to do something about them. But if you do, and you can, your fears will walk away. One of the troubles is that in our nation and in the world, guess what is the biggest industry by sales? Fear. Not pharmaceuticals, not Bitcoin, not anything else, fears. And as I look at what's going on in the world, I see more and more businesses and more industries that traditionally were cool about it, using fear as a way to manipulate us. And that methodology will only work if you say yes. And the way not to say yes is to work on the fears in your life. Fear that others want to make you feel is a form of manipulation. And like in any manipulation, you must agree to it. And you are likely to agree to it if you haven't worked on your fears. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart in a million pieces when I see so many people in our nation and so many people in the world thinking that they can solve their own problems by treating other people with indignity and disrespect. So many people think that they can get what they want and they can come out of their unhappiness by making you unhappy through the tools of indignity and disrespect. And the indignity and disrespect that others want to create in us can only come about if you are a receptacle for it. And you might be susceptible for it if you have fears that you have not dealt with. Let me give you a little hint, free hint from Father William. Anything that anybody does or says that bothers you is because it's in you wanting to be healed. There used to be so many things that bother me. Still some, I'm not there yet, I'm still on my 2 feet. But there were so many things that bother me, things my boss said, things that my girlfriend at the time said, things that happened. And I kept hearing this message at Unity that it bothers me because it's in me. And I thought, no, I'm cool. And through my work, I have learned, yes, there is something in me that needs to be healed. If I say that you are too tall or too short or too big or too small or too white or too dark and it bothers you, it's because you think it's bad in you. And you think it's bad in you because you have a fear in you that it might be true. So the way to stop this thing about others treating us with indignity and respect and disrespect is simply not to react to it. And the way not to react to it is to work on your own fears and your own emotional pain. Because you cannot do anything to me that I do not believe you can do to me. Our founding fathers had some things to say about it. This is going back about 250 years. 250 years, the people that put together the basis for our nation made a statement. Why are we looking the other way? I'm a naturalized United States citizen. It's an interesting story how I missed being a U.S. citizen by a couple of weeks. But I was born in another land, and then I came back to where I really belonged and was from, and I had to go through a process of naturalization. On a morning in January of 1994 in San Francisco, California, standing in front of a judge, she looked at me straight in the eye. She conferred on me U.S. citizenship, and she said, don't let anybody tell you that you're a lesser citizen because you're a naturalized citizen. So now I say to you, don't let anybody tell you that you're a second-class citizen because of the color of your skin, or your sexual orientation, or your age, or your national origin, or whether you like songs in major keys versus songs in minor keys. Don't let anybody tell you that you're anything less because of any physical trait or any background of yours. And that goes along with this practice of indignity and respect. Why are we doing this? Is it the ways of the Christ? Is it the ways of our founding fathers? Is it the way you would like it to be? Rhetorical question. In the study of theology and psychology, there is a concept, and that concept is named embedded theology. Embedded theologies are beliefs that were implanted in us, and they are still there in the dungeon of our psyche, even though we may think we have transgressed beyond them. But they are still there, and they raise their ugly face at the most inopportune times. All of my childhood, I attended a Catholic school. I received a great education. My teachers and advisors and caretakers were fine Catholic priests. Yet, as part of that tradition, some beliefs were implanted in me that I'm still dealing with. For example, they told me that I needed to suffer to earn a gate pass into heaven. They told me that Jesus bled for me, so I had to bleed too. And I stayed up at night wondering, how will it happen? Car crash, gunshot wound, earthquake and rumble. How was I going to possibly bleed to pay Jesus back? My mother was a loving, loving woman. She did much for me. Yet she taught me that everything in life comes hard. That you have to work really, really hard to maybe try to get halfway somewhere. And my father, also a loving man, did many good things for me, but he always said that I wasn't good enough. He always thought that what I did wasn't just right. And I've been working on that for years and years and years. And I think I'm pretty cool until that one day when the planets align and wham, there it comes up. So it's really, really important that we work on our embedded theology. It's really, really important that we identify those things that are not really working for us. And perhaps we think we are past them, through them, but sometimes we are not. And we have to dig really, 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 really deeply into the dungeon of our beliefs. Because your beliefs will drive your behavior. And your behavior will drive your reality. And we can sing all the great songs that you want and have really good cookies and hug and kiss, but until you deal with those beliefs that are there deeply, deeply, deeply in your consciousness, you will not be able to move on. One thing that I've noticed in my embedded theology, and some of those examples I share with you, is that the common ingredient is fear. Even though I think I'm a great guy and I've done so many cool things, I still sometimes think that I'm not good enough. Or I still sometimes think that it's going to take a really, really, really hard work to be able to play one song in the week without messing up. Or sometimes I think that even though I work so hard and do so well, it's not good enough. And I need to heal that. Because that is a fear that keeps me from being where I really belong. And that fear brings me an emotional pain that I could do without. Not rhetorical question, are you ready to move on beyond your embedded theology? Yes. Okay, so 2 people said yes. I'm going to tell Jonathan he's going to have a job for a long time. Are you ready to move on the beliefs of your embedded theology? Well, I am. I've dealt with it long enough. So a time comes when you have to start thinking, these clothes, these beliefs that I'm wearing are no longer good for me. And I thank them because they used to serve a purpose, but I'm ready to shed things off and move on to a new reality. A reality of peace, love, and unity. And peace, love, and unity will truly be there to stay after I heal the fears that I feel and the emotional pain that I feel, because I did not come to this earth to do that. I came to this earth to be unity, to be peace, and to be love. So I take off those old habits of the past, and I thank them for their job, because they were very useful once upon a time. And I say thank you for my past, but I am so looking forward to my future. It's up to you. You get to choose. So let's do a little homework. Your homework is to meditate each day for 10 minutes, not 7, not 6, 10 minutes. And in meditation, ask that it be revealed to you what beliefs and what behaviors no longer serve you. After meditation, take a piece of paper and write down what it came to you. And at the end of the week, read those papers as a review, shred them up, and put them in the trash. So you are saying goodbye to the behaviors and the beliefs that no longer serve you. Are you game? Yes. So let's do a quick little review. Number 1, fear and pain don't take you anywhere good. Number 2, there are people out there hoping to solve their problems by treating you with dignity and disrespect. And as you work on your fears and your emotional pain, you will not allow them to do that. Number 3, continuously do a health check on your embedded theology. There are beliefs that are still there. You may have been doing unity work or religion science work for many years, but those beliefs are still there. And you need to dig them up, throw them out. Because you came to this world to live an existence of peace, love, and unity. I'm Reverend William A. Gill, and I approve the Sunday message. Thank you.